Welcome to the place where brains collide with science, wit, and a nerdy vibe. I'm Dr. Angel. Let's dive in where psychology meets a clever spin. Stay curious, be kind, and keep your mind nerdy.
The power of September refresh. End the year with intention. September is kind of like that forgotten middle child of the year. Everyone is laser focused in January with their shiny resolutions, and then by September, most of us are just hanging on, counting down those days until, well, the holiday chaos. But here's the thing. September doesn't have to be the beginning of the end. It can actually be your secret weapon, like the runway to end the year strong and launch into the next one with momentum. Today, we're talking about how to do a September refresh. A time to get intentional, reset, and stop running on autopilot. Hi nerds, I'm Dr. Angel and welcome to Nerdy Psychology, where we mix real life and psychology-based strategies to help you live, love, and work smarter, not harder. If you're ready to stop letting life just happen to you, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any episodes. Let's dive in. Why September matters. Well, most people wait until January 1st to make changes. But the truth is, big, dramatic changes, they almost never stick. Small, intentional changes made now during this last quarter of the year are much more sustainable. Think of it like this. September through December, it's your runway. You don't want to start a brand new year sprinting from a dead stop. You want to already have momentum and carry it forward. Think of it like this. It's like training to run for a marathon. You don't just wake up one day and go run 26 miles. You warm up, you practice, you pace yourself. September is your warm-up laps. There is a reason why businesses most of the time will sit and do quarterly reviews of where they are. Did they meet benchmarks? Do they need to shift benchmarks? And that's what we're going to take that into our life today. And refreshing our goals is a great place to start. Your goals, they should be living and breathing things, meaning they can change, they can flex. You own your goals. They're not just something that you write down in January and then close the book and forget about it. Think about, what did you want when you started the year? Which goals have you already crushed? Which goals have shifted because, life changed? Maybe things happen that you weren't expecting, and maybe some of these goals just don't work where you had them anymore. It doesn't mean they're goals we don't want. Maybe just this isn't the timing for them. And which goals, no longer make sense. Sometimes we start and we make these goals and life happens and we grow, we change, we emerge, we find something over here, and then we shift a little bit. And the goals that we set back here, although had a great space, may not be the path that we're on. And that's okay. That's what living and breathing goals look like. So I'll give you a personal example. For me, earlier this year, one of my goals was to publish one of my books. But life has thrown me some curveballs. And it's okay. They're not bad curveballs, but they were curveballs. And then I needed to shift what I focused on. And so adjusting my goals, it wasn't failure. It's absolutely flexibility. Your September refresh is about giving yourself permission to adapt, not quit. So I want you to grab a notebook and do a quick audit of your goals. Keep what matters, tweak what needs adjusting, and let go of those goals that just no longer make sense or fit. The next part of our September refresh is our finances. Yes, I said the big F word, finances. The part we all want to avoid until January when the credit card bills come in and we're like, what happened? But here's the thing, your future you will thank you if you plan now. Every year, people overspend during the holidays, and then they spend like the next 5 to 6 months paying off for what they spent the holiday before. This year, let's do it differently. Let's take a look at how this year has been overall financially for you. Review your budget. What are you spending? This doesn't have to be a big formal spreadsheet. It can just be a list. What am I spending? What are our bills? What are our expenses? What's the income? And create a realistic spending plan for the holidays, for things like gifts, food, events, travel, even extra groceries. And then try to stick with that plan to reduce stress and debt. Honestly, just being aware and being intentional goes a long way. It's really easy to get caught up in the holiday hype of these great deals and these great bargains, and I'm going to get this and I'm going to get that, but without really considering, should I? And what will happen? What will my budget look like? And what stress will that add to me? And so when I can kind of get a loose idea, and for me, I don't sit and usually plan a budget by person. Most of the time, I just kind of think of my overall budget and then I kind of break it down. But you can do however works for you, but it helps us to stick with a plan that makes sense. This is not about being restrictive. It's really about being intentional with your money. So you're not starting the next half of next year trying to just catch up from this year. September is also a great time to take a look at, well, your habits. Do you have habits you'd like to add or even habits you would love to leave behind? For example, maybe you want to start walking in the evenings now that the weather's cooling down. Well, not so much if you live in Florida, but when the weather's cooling down, or maybe you just want to cut down from endless scrolling on your phone before you go to bed. Fall is the perfect time for this because it's a transitional season. And we want to use natural transitional seasons to help us make transitions in our life. Small, tiny tweaks right now, they can snowball into big changes by January. I'm going to share a personal story with me with this channel. I knew that I wanted to have a resource YouTube channel where I can have resources for people that would be helpful. And I live in Florida, and in September, and then 2 weeks later, we were hit with back-to-back hurricanes that really caused a lot of destruction. And I ended up having to reframe things that were going on in my own business. And so I stepped back and I said, well, why am I waiting till the next year to start this channel? Now I have this extra time. Let's figure it out. Sat out in October. I went to YouTube University and kind of learned how you set up a camera and how you set up lighting and how you edit a video and how you do some of the things. Now, I'm still learning on it, but I started in November. So by the end of the year, I had already had 8 episodes finished before I even started January. So it just meant January was picking up that same momentum that I had already had. And guess what? I have released a YouTube video every week this year except for 1 week. I am really proud of that. So pick one small habit to build or to release this month. Just one. It's about progress, not perfection. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the September thought. I know you're going to be Dr. Angel. I think you're getting a little bit ahead here, but we need to think about holiday planning and boundaries. Yes, I'm talking about now, right here in September. When you go to the store, you already see a lot of the holiday stuff out. But here's the thing. Once we hit September, before you know it, the holidays are here. They're right on top of us. And there's going to be parties and commitments and endless to-do lists. So this is a perfect time to sit back and just reflect. What worked last year? What worked well? What felt overwhelming or felt stressful? What would I want to do differently this year? Like, just stepping back and thinking about that a little bit can really help you be more intentional with your time and how you choose to spend your holidays. I get a lot of people that have all these ideas that they want to do this and they want to do that, and it gets away from us so quickly. And then we come into the New Year's and we feel sad that I didn't get to bake those cookies I really wanted to bake and I really enjoy those, or I didn't get to make these crafts with my girls because so much was happening, or I had to miss these parties and they were important to me. Like, think about it. What do you want it to kind of look like this year? Last year I had friends whose schedules were so jam-packed in December that by New Year's Eve, they were basically a very tired ornament on the couch. Let's not do that this year. Let's work on protecting your time by being clear about what you'll say yes to and what you can gracefully say no to. Remember, time is our most precious commodity. Once we spend it, we don't get it back. There's no refunds on our time. So let's spend it with intentionality and purpose. And a last tip I would like to throw on my fourth quarter. For me, I love planning a vacation or a rest period in the fourth quarter. The whole year has a lot of things happening, and I like to just plan a space where I can just take my own time out, refresh myself. This isn't about visiting family or doing obligatory things. This is about having time that I want for me to do the things I want to do. Some years it's going on a cruise and just unplugging. Some years it might just be staying home and finishing up a few projects I want to get done. It's not tied to holidays. In fact, it's between holidays, which makes it really nice because it's quiet and it gives me a space to just reflect, think, and stop for a minute. I have enjoyed having a November time out every year, and I have done so every year since I've started my practice, and it has been a game changer. No matter what the year brings, I know in November I have a space that I have put on the calendar in the beginning of the year, and I'm very excited for that space. And so just finding a little space to get some you time, some refresh time, it doesn't have to be a whole vacation. It could be a day, it could be a weekend, it can be what you might need, maybe sprinkle in a couple of them. But taking some of those time outs for yourself is important to do. And I hear a lot of people go like, Dr. Angel, how can you go away for a whole week in the holiday season and not stress you out, stress your time out? Well, because I look at what I have going on and what's really important to me, and I have to prioritize that week out. So that means I will miss someone's party or I won't be able to participate in this event, but that's okay. We can't do everything and we shouldn't do everything. Let's really be intentional. You don't have to wait for the calendar to say January 1 to hit refresh. September is your chance to realign, refocus, and reclaim your energy. Let's end this year strong. Let's do it with purpose. And let's set ourselves up for an amazing year ahead. In the comments, tell me one thing you're going to do to refresh this September, whether it's a habit, a goal, or even just some holiday plans. If you have found this episode helpful, be sure to hit the like and subscribe and share this with someone who needs a September reset. Stay curious, be kind, and keep your mind nerdy. See you next week.
Stay curious, be kind, and keep your mind nerdy.